In this episode of Food Service Worker, we're going to be talking about what is Mike's Way. What is Mike's Way? But first, we have to give a little rundown on this guy in Jersey, Mike's shirt that doesn't fit him. So, I've been in the food industry for off and on for quite a while, bounce between certain things, learn new things in life when it comes to jobs and stuff like that. But I always come back to the food industry because food is always interesting to see how the companies do their day-to-day operations on the food and how food is made and how the company prefers to do things. So I take that opportunity to be able to get these jobs and teach people, give them a little bit of a head start. That's something I didn't have when I started there, so that hopefully you can be successful if you want a job at one of these places. Because normally when you go in there, you're going in there with nothing at all to go by, and you're going to be confused on your first day at work. And nothing's more worse than that than going to your job for the first day and being completely nervous and doing everything wrong and worried about getting somebody complaining to you that you're doing it wrong. So that's what I like to do, is try to educate you all on what you could expect. Every location is different, so because the way I may say it's in my video doesn't necessarily mean that it'll be the same for your area that you work in, but it'll at least give you a heads up on what you could possibly expect. That being said, let's talk about what is Mike's Way. So Mike's Way is how Jersey Mike's wants their sandwiches made. And they have a strict way of how the sandwich is made. Like, you just can't put any toppings on it at all in any order you want. The toppings have to be placed in a proper order. Like, we're talking military style, basically, when it comes to it. And it's crazy. So it could be tough for some people. I mean, it's just sandwiches. People are just going to eat it. Like, it's not supposed to be a work of art or anything like that. I mean, if it was a work of art, it wouldn't be sloppy with a ton of oil and vinegar on it. But let's face it, that's what they consider an art piece, is sloppy sandwiches and soggy ones. Not to say that I don't like a soggy sandwich. I love my sandwiches soggy. I mean, Publix doesn't really do a good job when I tell them to put oil and vinegar on my sub, because their bread's sometimes a little on the hard side. So anyways, though, nevertheless, Mike's Way is basically, when a customer comes up, you say to them, would you like it Mike's way, right? And a customer may be cool and say, yes, I would like it Mike's way. And then you would go ahead, you start with your onions, your lettuce, and then your tomatoes, and then you would go to your juice, which is your oil and vinegar, and then your oregano, right? And that's Mike's Way, simple, right? However, the key here is to Mike's Way, okay, is that there are a certain amount of drops and the amount of drop of liquid that must come out of the bottles of this oil and vinegar, okay? So, for example, it's like your basic one is kind of like 2 oils, two vinegars and three oils. So two vinegars, 3 oils. Not to get this mixed up. 2 vinegars, 3 oils. Say it with me. 2 vinegars, 3 oils. And they gotta be somewhat heavy. So you gotta do this kind of fast. You gotta start from the top, bop, bop. Kind of want to go fast on this. You don't want to just stop. It's gotta be down, all the way down. You know what I'm saying? Bop, bop, done. You know what I mean? And you gotta do your oil, which gotta be 3 times, right? So you gotta start from the top. I know I messed up the vinegar. Don't worry. I know what I'm saying. So that's why I'm gonna correct it on the oil part. So oil is 3 passes on this. You start at the top, go all the way down, then do it at the bottom. You're gonna dab again, all the way up again, and when you get to the top, you're gonna end at the bottom. So you're gonna go down to the bottom. You're gonna be done once you reach the bottom for the oil. So the oil is always gonna end at the bottom for the 3rd pass on a basic sub. Now there's normally double the amount on a giant. So a giant would be 6 passes of like the oil, right? and I think for the vinegar, I think it's 6 passes for the vinegar as well, or something like that. I don't remember offhand, but I'm just saying this is an example to give you a little heads up on how the juice is very important. That you're going to have to learn that, and that could be make it or break it for you on doing that. Okay, can be a little nerve wracking if you're an overthinker like I am. I'm an overthinker, and you have to try to figure a way to let that go. Easier said than done, I know. So, anyways, that's the Mike's way. And now let me tell you something I need to caution you on. So let's assume that a customer comes up and you're like, "Hi, would you like it Mike's way?" No, I don't think I'll have it Mike's way. Let me just get some tomatoes and some banana peppers and some onions and some mayonnaise and some of that relish stuff. It's really important that if they go to the onions part, that you put the onions first, because it's Mike's way. You know what I mean? So you need to put, if they're gonna have the juice on it, it's really important that the juice goes on like your main Mike stuff. So Mike stuff, they're onions and lettuce, for example. So anything that's Mike stuff, right, that would normally have the oil and vinegar on it, you need to put those things on first, but it has to be done in order. So if they tell you onions last, and you need to, before you do anything, you need to stop these people ahead of time. You can do it that way, or you need to be able to remember what they're saying, but you need to put it on in the way Mike wants it. Okay, so it needs to be the onions first if they say onions. If they said lettuce, put the lettuce on there. And then if they didn't want tomatoes on that, right, and they wanted banana peppers and some jalapenos and stuff on there, you need to go, but they did say that they wanted the oil and vinegar on there and the oregano. You need to go ahead and put the juice on first before you add the extra toppings, because you need that juice and oil to give it that flavor onto the lettuce and the onions, because that's where you're going to get your flavor from for that. So when you do that, you need to do that. Then you put your extra outer toppings on that I guess maybe Mike wouldn't want on his sub, but Mike, I guess, likes his sub to just have lettuce or onions, lettuce, tomatoes, and then the juice, and then the oregano. He doesn't care for the rest of the toppings, and that's why it's done after that, right? So that's done, and then after that you put the other toppings on it. So it's really important that whatever it is, you do it Mike's way. So to stress it to you again, okay, the customer says they don't want it Mike's way, but they do want the oil and vinegar, and they want some banana peppers on it, they want the jalapenos on it, they don't want no tomatoes on it, but they want lettuce and onions on it. Don't go and put like the other ingredients on there before you start with the onions and lettuce first, and then you put your oil and vinegar on it, and your then you can do your other toppings, because the oil and vinegar has to go on Mike's way first before you can put the extra toppings on it. Okay, then you can put the extra toppings on it and whatever else the customer wants on that, and hopefully you're good to go on that. And hopefully I didn't complicate you too much. I probably did, and you are now confused as heck. But to me, it doesn't have to be that complicated, but that's how complicated it is for me. But that's just the basic way I can try to explain it. So hopefully you got that. And if you didn't, let me explain this to you again in a slower way so that you can hopefully understand this. So Mike's way is onions, lettuce, tomato, oil and vinegar, oregano. That's it for Mike's way. Okay? If the customer decides that they want jalapenos and any other topping on it after Mike's way, you're good to add that on there. However, you cannot add toppings that are not Mike's way before you put your Mike's way ingredients down first. And there's, like I said, there's an order which everything has to be put down. So you can't put the lettuce down first and then the onions on top of the lettuce, and then the tomatoes and all that. It can't be done that way. It has to be done Mike's way. So you you have to almost basically ask customers, we like lettuce, you know, like onions. First ask them if they want onions, lettuce, tomato. They don't want Mike's Way. And then would you like the juice on that? And then if they tell you other stuff on there, right, then you're good. Okay, that's it though for what is Mike's Way. Sometimes, by the way, I get caught up and I call it Mike's Special. You'll probably see that in other videos. That's because I messed up. For some reason I thought it's Mike's Special. I get all excited, as you can see in my videos. This is a long video. I can't believe I'm going to upload this, but not scripted, not edited at all. See you on the next episode.